On this podcast, we explore the many dimensions of spirituality and how they intersect with everyday life. Join us as we dive deep into conversations about how people are serving humanity, embodying spiritual wisdom, and creating positive change in the world. From ancient traditions to modern practices, the Spirituality Now podcast is your space to discover, learn, and be inspired. Welcome to the Spirituality Now podcast. Why I'm doing like exaggerating the now is because we just put an exclamation point in our branding. You're going to see it, is Spirituality Now. Why? Because everything in this right moment, and you know what we're all about. I'm so excited because today we have as a guest someone returning, and it's a dear friend of mine. I really love this person that I'm about to interview again. I consider her my daughter from another universe. I consider that her mother and I share motherhood. I love her mom. I love her family. I'm going to tell you something before I read a little bit of her bio. We have had her in the show before, but she is, I don't know how to say it without doing an improper word, but she's a bad ASS. She is truly a badass woman, spiritually, entrepreneurship wise, manifestation, law of attraction. She is one of the women of the youngest people I have had the privilege to serve. Young, but with a fire in her belly, with hunger for getting better herself and supporting others and growing. And she just goes after what she wants, and she attracts, manifests, magnetizes, and she's phenomenal. Let me put my glasses for this part. For those of you who do not follow us on YouTube, please follow us. This is 2025 is my year of power, which means that we're going to put power, infuse power in everything we do, whoever we serve. And we're going to do a podcast just specifically for that. But please subscribe, like us on YouTube. I'm not being very active on YouTube, but I plan to. So please, Spotify, wherever you are, please help us share. And this year we're going to expand. Anywho's. So today we're going to talk all about manifestation, law of attraction, and entrepreneurship with this incredible woman, Colleen Gallagher. Colleen is an educator, published author, social media influencer, and Oracle card deck creator. Plus, the creator of so many programs, so many products, good things, travel agent, and just incredible when I'm telling you about entrepreneurship. She empowers individuals to find clarity, align with their purpose, and create impactful lives. Just we're summarizing it. She was diagnosed, this is something that I'm always impressed by. She was diagnosed with cancer at the age of 14. 14. Just grab your head around that. And her healing journey inspired her mission to help others uncover their purpose, take bold risks, and live life fully, which she truly does, and travel all over the world. And she has many businesses. And we're going to talk about all of that: manifestation, love, attraction, and entrepreneurship. My beloved friend Colleen, welcome back.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for such a great introduction. I feel like, oh my gosh, you're so powerful. So it's like she has so many guests, so to be in the same lineup as the guests you have is an honor. So thank you.
Oh my gosh, they are powerful. How you just told me, that's how I feel every time I interview any of you. I'm just grateful that I get to speak to people like you and everyone else that comes into the podcast. So Colleen, I've known you for how many years? I don't know. Probably
5 or 6 years now.
Like how long?
5 or 6 years. We're rounding up to a decade, I think. We're at half a decade, going to a decade.
We have to celebrate. And right now you're in Europe, as we are. I'm in Las Vegas right now. You're in Europe, traveling, because that's what you do, traveling all over the world. So, Colleen, let's talk a little bit about, of course, for anybody that wants to hear more of the story of Colleen, you can go to the other podcast. We will link it in the comment, in the copy here. because her life story is very powerful, how she healed from cancer, how she thrived from all the challenges that she lived as youth. But I want to really focus on manifestation, love, attraction, and entrepreneurship. Colleen, you have a very special way to attract, magnetize, and since I met you, everything you've told me, I want to create this, you do it. I want to attract this, you do it. I want to interview this person, you attract them. And let's start with manifestation, law of attraction. You have a podcast, right? That right now is more like in a pause or something. Talk to us about it.
Yeah. Well, I would say the great thing about online products, which is what I love about podcasts, is that it doesn't really have to take a pause because it's always existing. So that's the best thing, is that once you have it, like a book, or
Oh,
once you have like the Oracle deck, once you have a podcast, once you have a social media presence and you genuinely leverage it for your impact and your voice and your mission and your cause, that always can run for you. That's the beautiful thing about an online business versus in person, like a brick and mortar. So I wouldn't say necessarily pause it. I really built it from the intention from the very beginning that it was free content that anyone could tap into at any time for educational purposes. If you weren't able to reach me, or I was choosing to not be available in my life because I was focusing on another business or another investment that I was doing, you could tap in and you could be impacted and influenced and, go along my journey of how I became where I was at any part where I was in my journey. So we've been downloaded in 80 countries. It hasn't stopped. Actually, I think last time we talked, I don't think it was near that. So it just continues to grow, but we will have more episodes this year that are live. So that's kind of where we are with that. And we have my fifth book that will also come out this year. It's been written, but I just don't feel the timing's like right this second. I think it's going to be one of those things where I get the nudge that it's ready, and then I'm just going to go, okay, everyone, it's launching, and it'll go out.
right, right. I can relate to that. And your podcast and everything. I love what you just said. I was like, wait, total paradigm shift right now for me. You are so right. It can be repurposed, it's evergreen, whatever we do that is online, and you're so good at that. And for your podcast, I've always been curious. You told me, Ivonne, I want to interview Gabby Bernstein and other people that you have in your podcast. Tell me a little bit how you attracted, manifested. How did that work? How did that happen?
Yeah. So I'm so grateful because I feel like really early on, I just had this inner knowing, which I do believe we all have an inner knowing. It's just guided by different emotional factors or driven by different triggers we have. I just had a really big trigger where I knew I was unhappy and I knew I wanted to change, and I knew that something had to change or I was not going to get a future that I wanted. And maybe I didn't articulate those words in my mind, like how I just said it to you, that maybe it wasn't articulating in my mind, but that was the nudge, that was the urge, that was the feeling, that was the sensation that was going on. I just can't keep doing whatever I'm doing. And so at 24, I made a really interesting choice to really change my whole life. And I moved across the world to New Zealand, and I really got into yoga and meditation. I was always like into yoga, but this was like 4 hours a day. I was doing it. And like 8 months, I cut everything out. And I'm not saying you have to go to this extreme. I'm just telling you how badly I was in pain and how badly I wanted something else, another narrative. So I began from there to start focusing on what I wanted, which was to travel the world and make money doing it. So an opportunity came to me. From that, I was birthed the opportunity that more people that I never knew existed were coming into my reality of how what I wanted, how there were different avenues or like hikes, like different hiking trails. There was different hiking trails that would give me the opportunity to get to that top of where I wanted to go. And so people just started popping into my reality that I never heard of, I never knew. And I became, I call it like obsessive. I do have a very like obsessive, and some people think that's bad. I don't know if it is or not. We all can give it a narrative. But I have a very like obsessive personality that when I decide that I want something, which I think most of us do, when you decide you want something, we do whatever it takes to get there. Like, so I decided that I was going to do something. So more and more people were coming to my reality and became obsessive of watching them, of engaging in their content, of like literally like indulging myself and getting around them. And if they were in a city, I would drive here, or I would fly there, or I would do whatever I could to get around them. And so eventually, because that happened so much, I just started creating a new habit, like just how you have a habit of breathing, how you have a habit of walking, how you have a habit of doing your hair or doing your makeup, or however you shower. Some people brush their teeth in shower, some people don't. Like whatever that is, I started creating a habit, and the habit was always going towards where the opportunity was to bring me closer to where I wanted to be. And that habit is what we call manifestation. So I began doing this. And as I began doing this, your brain, your subconscious mind begins to filter out different ways, like different neural pathways to bring you that closer and closer and closer, because you're building confidence in yourself. So I guess with that, how did I do that? I don't think it's just like an avenue of one way, because you can apply what I just said, that same skill set in every way. And if I was just to give you the one example of how Gabby Bernstein, it's a disservice because I do it in so many ways. But the way with Gabby Bernstein is she was one person that when I wanted to awaken or when I wanted a different narrative, I started following her. Ironically, when I came back to the States after living in New Zealand for about 8 months, she had her book tour. I think it was for her 5th or 6th Judgment Detox book. And she was in LA. So I actually went, my uncles knew about it. My uncles took me to her book tour thing there. I don't even think I ever read that book. I just went there to meet her and I didn't even get to meet her. And then I just really followed her a lot. I emailed her a lot. I messaged her team to send her my books every time I wrote a new book, and they gave me her PO box and I sent it to them. Then I'm on live stream one time and I just jump on and she had it where you could join the live. So she accepted my join.
I was there. Colleen, remember you went live I was just there. You sent me a message. Oh my gosh. And you had just told me, I just want to tell everybody, you had just told me, I want to interview her. And bam, you are in a live, you pull in, you ask, and then.
And then I got it. Yeah.
And you got it. But as you said, it is not only one thing, it's the whole thing. You have the ability of something. I have heard many of my mentors and coaches say that when there is no space in the table for you, you have to make your own space. You have to bring your own chair. And I've seen you taking action, your faith into action consistently, even though you don't know how it's going to look like. You don't lose the focus, you don't lose the purpose, and you don't lose the desire. And now for obsession, I've not seen anyone that really is in the arena of life, that really is into manifestation, magnetization, and attraction, not being obsessed. I have not met one single person that doesn't has an obsession to succeed, to serve others, to grow better. I think obsession is highly either underrated. I think it's part of this gig of being a manifesting human. So, Colleen, I love that. I love that. And once you interview her, I just saw you rolling with that. It was Gabby, and then it was, I don't remember who else, but you interviewed
David Meltzer. Yeah, David Meltzer, who's like $100 million guy. I've had like Katrina Ruth, who's one of the most successful coaches in Australia.
I love her. She and I were in the same mastermind. And David Meltzer is one of the best. I think I'm pronouncing well his last name, right? And I think he's one of the best around the law of attraction and feelings and tapping into manifestation.
Oh yeah, for $100 million guy who like ran it, and like for his industry and sports media, like you don't get any better than that for sure. That's like out there doing the work. And there might be people who are doing the work privately, but not like out there publicly. But he's incredible. I love him. He will probably be on the podcast again this year. I talked with his team on it, so he would be the only other person besides you that would have 2 podcast episodes on ours. I've had a woman who's like done 27 films. I met her in the film industry, and she's like really well known in kind of the what's not like major films, but like what's it called? Small film festivals. She's like a great woman to know in that industry. I have just I don't want to say random people, but if I go through my list, there's just people that are all different industries. I have a guy who was a head leader in sales in Verizon. He was a VP in sales in Verizon. And now he owns his own company, goes around and does sales training. I've just have really cool people that have gone on crazy journeys and
amazing. And everybody really likes to, like myself, we really love your presence, Colleen. We really enjoy. Actually, some of the people that we interviewed them thanks to you. We connected them through your podcast. We reached out like, we heard this. We love your podcast with Colleen. We love Colleen. Do you want to come in our podcast? And they joined us.
I love this.
Salesforce, all of that, So anyway, Colleen, because we're talking about manifestation, love, attraction, and entrepreneurship, what are some of the challenges that people or obstacles that you have faced, that people will face, that they don't want to face, but that you have to face to go through it, to learn from it, and to build, bricks or steps into your next manifestation or result?
I think the hardest part, like where I am now looking at it, I think the hardest part is just, it's the first step, like genuinely, like, when they say like you're climbing the top of the tower or something, like that first step they show, it's like the biggest step, is you're like climbing a ladder, then you have to get a rock to put the ladder on to, like, you know what I'm saying? Just to climb that first step. Like, it's like you have to do all these things. And I think that a large part of that is due to confidence. It's due to changing your mindset. It's due to facing your own demons. It's due to upgrading your habits. It's limiting beliefs. It's money mindset. It's tapping into something greater than you. I think that's the part of starting. That's the the most challenge. I think once you get going, it's just kind of more an acceptance of letting people go and kind of being stricter with your time, of who's allowed in your time. Like, what are you going to be doing with team building activities, dealing with kind of, I guess, false notions of that people come in to your world and they want something, they have a certain expectation, and then like maybe you're not going to give them what they expect because of what, like, the skill sets you need or the goals that you need and what they're willing to provide with their skill sets. Like, I think that is kind of where it evolves in a different way. And I think also you just get more creative when it comes to like passive income and how you can make passive income, how you can make passive income for others. Like, you don't just look at like a product and impact, you look at, you know, wealth building activities for yourself and the people around you, of what you can provide to their families through your empire or through what you're building, and what you can do for your generations down the line, even up the line. So I think it's just a different game, but I think it's just starting, because that's, once you start, you build those habits and you build your confidence. So just the game becomes easier. But I think it's still like the challenge is it's always emotional. 80% of success in anything is strategy, or not strategy, sorry, is your mindset. 80% is strategy, it's your emotions, it's your well-being. 20% is strategy. Anyone could be a great golfer, anyone can be a great YouTuber, anyone can be a great nail artist, anyone can be a great makeup artist. It's 80% your mind and how much effort and energy you want to exude to that because it aligns with your passion. And then 20% of that is really just the strategy. And those two things of that passion and that focused intention is what will give you that avenue to succeed.
I love that. I love that, because obstacles are part of the game, and falling down is part of the game. But once you take that first step, as you said, it's hard not to keep going. It is easy not to go when you don't take that step. It is easy to stay, to stall, to criticize, to be the spectator. But those of us who are in the arena, I believe I'm in the arena. I never believe I'm there. It's always like there's always more, and there's always better, and there's always something that we can refine more our service to others. But I also love what you said about wealth, and and we have a whole podcast about this. You're talking about money and business, but wealth, truly, for me, is when we can really share it and replicate it, and leave the legacy, living right now, and live it, right? So, and you said something that I want to talk to you now. You said, and then you are aligned. What does that mean, Colleen? What does it mean? How does people feel? How do they know? Like, oh my gosh, I just took the first step. I know I have all these obstacles. I know where I'm going, but how do I align so I don't get derailed, which you will? All of us get derailed, and we just got to come back. But how do you align with that purpose that keeps you going and moving forward in that way that you want to go?
Yeah, I think it's like a very easy analogy I always like to use. Is like, no one wants to get up and like work out. Like, the hardest part of going to work out is to put your clothes on and show up to the gym, or to show up to your trainer. You know what I'm saying? That's why people hire a trainer, to like be account. You literally pay a trainer just to be accountable. Like, it's not like they're doing something that's absolutely crazy you can't get for free on YouTube, or you can't get for much cheaper on a YouTube or on an app. But alignment isn't necessarily a task. Like, it's not a mind thing. It's a feeling. It's a sensation. So you go to the gym and you're working out. Oh, I'm putting the reps in. Like, oh, okay, can I push one more? Can I push one more? And you're like talking yourself in your mind. Like, I know I do this all the time, and I breaking it down. I'll be like, okay, 15-second intervals for 1 minute. I can do anything for 15 seconds. And then I'll hit my minute interval. Like, this is how I talk to myself when I don't want to do it. And so when that happens, I began to start to feel a sensation. I began to start to feel, okay, this feels really good. This is helping me reach my goals. And so alignment is like when I'm done with the workout and then I'm seeing the results, maybe not that day, but a week later, a month later. And that's alignment. It's a sensation, it's a feeling, it's a knowing. And it doesn't feel good maybe when you're in it, but it's guiding you towards where you need to go.
Love it. It doesn't feel good maybe when you are in it. And I think that's a misconception of people that think that I always need to be feeling good. No, I do not like to go to the gym. I don't like to lift the heavy weights. What I do love is the result that I will get with consistent reps. And I think manifestation, law of attraction, entrepreneurship, spirituality, anything in life, without reps, there's not going to be results. The proper reps, which you are so phenomenal at doing, Colleen. So now let me ask you, how many books have you published already?
4.
4. How old are you?
I'm 31. So basically,
Not that not that age has anything to do with it, because I know some people will say, "Oh my gosh, the age. Why do you?" But I do want to tell you that I've witnessed Colleen since younger, even younger, always striving for more, for being of service, for sharing a good message, for having successful business, and it's just phenomenal how you have come into alignment more and more and more with you, and your words become even more clearly aligned with the purpose that you are here to share with others through any of your businesses. You are a very, very successful entrepreneur, and you have gone through it all. So how do you, and these are going to be a couple of last questions. Once you are aligned, how do you think people can feel that they have tapped into the power of manifestation?
it begins to feel like your life is like a movie. That's the best thing I can kind of say. Like, and I'm not saying that in a way of like, okay, like I don't know how to describe this. And I'm really trying to like get this flow state that everyone talks about. You can't just wake up and go to the gym and you're in a flow state. I don't think it's like that. It's genuine, like where your calendar starts to be booked. You don't even realize that you can't even respond to all the text messages you used to. You like, here's an example. I just was in Miami on a layover and we had a gorgeous, we stayed at the Dream Hotel. It was absolutely gorgeous. We checked out because we had a late flight. So we were just staying up by the pool. I worked, I think checkout was noon, from 12 to the sundown. And I didn't even see the sunset because I was working the whole time and on my phone the whole time. Like once, and then I got cold and I was like, oh my God, the sun's down. Like I need to put a blanket on and like go down and get some food. And then we have to get ready for the flight. Like it's in 2 hours. What I'm saying is how do you know you're aligned? Like that's when you know you're aligned, when you're like, oh my God, you're so lost in what you're doing. Like you don't even realize all the time that's passing. And then you look at all the things that are happening, like that you're accomplishing in that time, but you genuinely didn't realize the time was passing. That is alignment, I would say. That's when you really know. And it's not just alignment of like, oh my God, I'm in Bali or I'm in Laos and I'm sitting there and time's just passing by and I'm meditating. I mean, that's happening and you're genuinely seeing results. Like people are being paid, business is moving forward. You have new rentals. I mean, for real estate, so you have new rentals coming in. You see a new book coming in. You have more podcast downloads. Like I haven't touched my podcast in a year, and we're in 80 countries. Like that's alignment. That's you're in an aligned flow state. It's working for you without you having to do it. You're seeing that your bank account is more full. You have passive income coming in. You're looking at not just being a millionaire, but you're looking at passive income of being a millionaire. You're looking at your net worth being a millionaire or above. You're looking at other people becoming six figures earner, and you're seeing how their kids are maybe going from public school to private school, or they're saving more for their college. Like this is what I'm talking about when you are really aligned and time is just passing and all these things are happening. And the more things are happening, the quicker the times pass and you're like, oh my God. And that's the truth of what it is. And how do you get there? I feel like we've gone through that just now, but it takes time. Like I started this journey when I was 24. I'm 31, so I'm on year 6 in this journey. Like this was not.
I love that.
Yeah, I didn't
I
think
love
about
that.
half the things I'm saying.
Just the power of alignment, Colleen. So to put it of the power of manifestation, from alignment to recognize that, wow, I'm in the flow state of manifestation. If you could, and I know this is challenging because there's no A, B, C step for manifestation. It's such a non-linear process, but there's some consistency in there. There's some faith. There's some reps there. If you could recommend 3 steps for people to tap into that flow state of manifestation, 3, and note to everyone listening to the podcast, there's a gazillion ones and not one is the same for everyone. So but let's see, based on your experience, what will be 3 recommendations, the practical little manifestation alignment hack, law of attraction hack from Colleen Gallagher. 3 steps, go.
Definitely number 1, you have to just have clarity, and the clarity comes from writing and from doing, like in my experience. So you have to just, what do I want? What do I want my life to look like? How does that feel? I always was clear I just told you guys, I wanted to travel the world and be paid to do it. I was looking for different avenues to get me there. Now I have multiple avenues that get me there, and I think that was super clear to me. That's what I wanted. So you just have to know, what is that? And that can change over time, but I still feel deep inside your heart, deep inside your soul, you still know what you want. Like some of my friends, like they just want to be married and want to have kids. That's totally fine. That's what they want. So they create an amazing life around that. it's not like it's bad or good or better or worse. Everyone just has to know. So that's number one. Number two, I genuinely do believe you need to pay, or if you don't pay, you need to get around people who want the similar goals that you do. So I was in masterminds. I only listened to content, even what was free, of people that I wanted to have my life be like, or they were making the money that I wanted. And I was like watching their brand positioning, watching what they're doing. And number three, you just have to know you have to fail fast and fail forward.
Colleen, I think this podcast, this is the 3-step Colleen Gallagher manifestation, alignment, law of attraction, entrepreneurship hack of the century. Right. You just gave us 1, 2, 3, go,
Yeah.
and then make sure to push yourself or have someone push you to take the first step. This is phenomenal, Colleen. So, any plans that you have for a new book, any new businesses, anything that you would like us to share in the podcast with our audience?
Yeah, so I think I do have a new book coming this year in my podcast. So always follow colleengallagher.co. It's my website, or go to the Colleen Gallagher podcast and anything, or just on any social media, the Colleen Gallagher, I'm always posting. So that's one. And I always have all my products and my courses. And then number two, I have a travel business. So if you travel a lot, or if you're looking for extra income, I have an opportunity where you can save up to 80% on your travel. You make up to 20% commission back on all of your travel, which is great because I travel all the time. And then there's a passive income side, which is the team building side of the business. So that's such a beautiful side, because if you went through a divorce, or you went through a breakup, or even if you just want another side hustle to make some passive income, this is a great, there's no required hours to work, and you just make money based on what you put into it. So it's really a results-based driven opportunity, which is just incredible for all of my salespeople and people who just want to make extra money or learn sales tactics and tools, basically part of this. So that's number two. And then number three, I'm in real estate now. My partner and I have been together for about 4 years, which is crazy. And he's been in real estate for 20 years. And so we have an opportunity where you're able to partner with us and get into real estate, where you can earn some passive income with houses and a financial product that we have. So you can just reach out to me and message real estate, and I can get you that information.
That is phenomenal. Any, if you have any special links for our listeners, or any special, we're always asking now our guests, like, do you have any gift, any discount, or any special thing that they can have for the Spirituality Now podcast? Let us know. If you have anything, just think about it. We'll put it in the copy, and we'll also put everything, because maybe those of you who are listening, you wanted to attract more passive income with the focus of wealth, of legacy. You wanted to understand more the power of manifestation. I mean, this woman is living and breathing that. You also wanted to become an entrepreneur, or really, up-level your entrepreneurship game. And you wanted to magnetize more of that spiritual aspect of it all in your life. So Colleen is Colleen is your gal. It's like Colleen Gallagher, Colleen is your gal.
And just just message me if you guys heard of this from the spirit, just say a Spiritually Now podcast. And I have a special meditation that I can give just for you guys. I'll take it from one of my vaults. Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about it. So guys, we are asked and thou shalt receive. She's going to give us something special for the podcast. What is it, Colleen?
Yeah, so I actually had something, it was called, I think, the Vault or the Meditation. Anyway, so I have about 50 meditations that I did. It was a monthly program that I did. So I actually have one that was called Spiritually Manifesting. And so that's the name of your podcast. So I will actually offer that if you just message me on any social media platform. I'll message my team right now to make sure that I can send you guys that one. And it's we'll just take that link out of the Vault so you guys can get it for free.
Perfect. So you heard it. You have just to follow the instructions on the copy that we put, and make sure to follow the instructions as they are, as Colleen says, so you can get that spiritual manifesting meditation just for the listeners of the Spirituality Now podcast. So my beautiful Colleen, I know you got to go and you have a travel agenda. You are only 8 hours there in Spain. Go for your next adventure. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you, everyone, for being in the podcast with us. Please give a follow to Colleen. All her social media links are in the copy. And we love you, Colleen. We love you all. And a lot of power and faith in action to you all. Un besito.
Thank you so much.
Adios. Thank you for tuning into the Spirituality Now podcast. We hope today's episode has inspired and empowered you on your spiritual journey. If you enjoyed this conversation, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with others who may benefit from it. Remember, spirituality is not just something we practice, it is how we live, how we serve, and how we connect. Stay grounded, stay inspired, and keep evolving. Please join us next time for more enlightening discussions, and until then, take care and be well.